The Veldt is a short story written by Ray Bradbury that was published originally as The World the Children Made in September 23, 1950 issue of the Saturday Evening Post, later republished in the anthology The Illustrated Man in 1951. The anthology is a collection of short stories that were mostly published individually in magazines beforehand. In the story, two children solve their disappointment with their parents by escaping to a simulated grassland that proves all too real. Plot summary: the Hadley family lives in an automated house called the Happy Life Home, filled with machines that do everything for them from cooking meals, to clothing them, to rocking them to sleep. The two children, Peter and Wendy, become fascinated with the nursery, a virtual reality room that is able to connect with the children telepathically to reproduce any place they imagine. The parents, George and Lydia, soon wonder if there is something wrong with their way of life. Lydia tells George, "That's just it. I feel like I'd own a unregistered trademark belong here. The house's wife and mother now, and nursemaid. Can I compete with an African Veldt? Can I give a bath and scrub the children as efficiently or quickly as the automatic scrub bath can? I cannot." They are also perplexed and confused that the nursery is stuck on an African setting, with lions in the distance, eating the dead carcass of some sort of animal. There they also find recreations of their personal belongings and hear strangely familiar screams. Wondering why their children are so concerned with this scene of death, they decide to call a psychologist. The psychologist, David McLean, suggests they turn off the house, move to the country, and learn to be more self-sufficient. The children, completely reliant on the nursery, beg their parents to let them have one last visit. The nursery has replaced their real parents. They live for the nursery. The parents relent, and agree to let them spend one more minute there. When they come to the nursery to fetch the children lock them in from the outside. George and Lydia look on as the lions begin to advance towards them. They scream. At that point, they realize that what the lions were eating in the distance was not an animal, but their own simulated remains. When David comes by to look for George and Lydia, he finds the children instead enjoying lunch on the veldt and sees the lions eating something in the distance. The reader realizes that George and Lydia died at the hands of their own offspring, who had so often envisioned the lions eating them that it came true. Adaptations: the story was adapted into an episode of the radio program Dimension X in 1951. The same script was used in a 1955 episode of X-1, with the addition of a frame story in which it was explained that George and Lydia were not really slain, and that the entire family was now undergoing psychiatric treatment. The Veldt was adapted for the cinema as part of The Illustrated Man, but the film was very poorly received. The Veldt was adapted into a stage production by Bradbury and can be found in a volume titled The Wonderful Ice Cream Suit and Other Plays in 1972. In 1984, Michael McDonough of Brigham Young University produced The Veldt as an episode of Bradbury 13, a series of 13 audio adaptations of famous Ray Bradbury stories, in conjunction with National Public Radio. The Canadian-produced anthology television series The Ray Bradbury Theatre included the story, scripted by Bradbury, as episode number 29. It was first broadcast November 10, 1989, and starred Malcolm Stewart, Shana Alexander, and Thomas Peacock. The BBC produced a radio play version of The Veldt in 2007, which was broadcast on BBC Radio 4. In 1983, Swedish television premiered a TV movie based on The Veldt, under the title Savonen, with Bibi Andersson in the role of Lydia, and Erland Josephson playing David. In 1987, a movie Veldt was made in the USSR, where several of Bradbury's stories were intertwined. It was billed as the first Soviet horror movie. In 1994, Square Enix released a video game titled Final Fantasy VI on the SNES Super Nintendo console, which featured a zone called the Veldt. The area contains several references to the short story. In 2010, Stephen Colbert read the Veldt for the NPR radio program's Selected Shorts before a live audience at Symphony Space. In 2012, shortly before author Ray Bradbury's death, Canadian musician Dead May 5 produced a song titled The Veldt, including lyrics by Chris James based upon the story. The music video, released after Bradbury's death, is dedicated to him and shows a young boy and girl wandering through an African veldt and witnessing several plot points from the story, including vultures, and a lion eating an unseen carcass. It is illustrated in a similar fashion to that of the video game Limbo. See also: holodeck, simulated reality in fiction, Smart House, a film loosely based on the Veldt. References. External links: the Veldt title listing of the Internet Speculative Fiction Database, Ray Bradbury Unregistered Trademark S official website, a short review of the story with resources for finding it.